Hi, this is Mike Madoda, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM. We are Z-Team on ZiFM Sport.
Z, the hottest station in the nation. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Today we continue with the Michael Jackson story. We have been telling you all the facts and details around the man that they dubbed the King of Pop, from the Jackson 5 Days right through to his biggest hit, Thriller, and through to really good efforts like Black and White. We continue with that today. If you love Beat It, you will need, of course, to stay tuned to your favorite station, ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. Just in case you're wondering if you're tuned into the wrong show, well, I can tell you, you're not. This is ZiFM Sport. The play of the day is always a big feature, and this time round in 2019 we're doing an artist feature, and of course we've been talking about Michael Jackson, and we'll wrap it up tomorrow on Friday. This is the show that's short, sharp, and sweet, like we do every Thursday. And today we delve in local football, we talk development, we talk recycling of old players, the return of legends like Edward Sadomba, and possibly Justice Majavi to the country's biggest and most successful team, Dynamos, has been heralded by some, but there are others who are taking a look at it with cynicism, saying that perhaps it's a sign of how poor the resources are at grassroots level. I'm in the studio with Barry Manandi. My name is Mike Madoda. Behind the desk is Sean Tafirenyika. Brace yourself. It should be a good one.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Before that, we'll give you a quick international sports news roundup, but ahead of that, we start always at home. In local news, rugby. The 2019 Harare Rugby League Under-21 Championships will get underway on Saturday, with several matches lined up for round one, and defending champions Pitbulls expected to continue with their dominance. The Churchill High School-based side will open their campaign with a tough encounter against arch rivals Harare Sports Club in their backyard at the Nigel Phillips Fields. The Pitbulls are high on confidence after they managed to clinch the 2018 Harare Province X-Side Sevens Rugby Series Championship. The Harare Rugby League has two groups, A and B, where the teams will be play in a round-robin format in the group stages, which will culminate in the semi-finals and later the finals.
In triathlon news, event director of the Bonaqua Troutbeck ATU Sprint Triathlon African Cup, Rick Fulton, says that they are pleased with the entries for this year's edition, as it will feature the largest field in the competition's history. Last year, the event attracted 15 athletes, but the figures doubled this year, with 30 elite athletes, 21 men and 9 women, now registered to compete at Troutbeck Resort in Nyanga on the 16th of February. The event consists of a 750-meter swim, 20-kilometer cycle, and a 5-kilometer run. That'll be shattered up to 200 kilometers, surely.
It'll be a long cycle ride, I tell you what. Let's wrap up our local news roundup with athletics. At least 600 athletes are expected to attend the National Athletics Association of Zimbabwe NAAZ's Track and Field Championships to be held at White City Stadium in Bulawayo on Saturday. Runners that post good times, great jumps and throws will have brighter prospects of qualifying for national teams that will compete at regional and international meets in 2019. The White City meet is the second selection event of the year after NAAZ held a similar competition in Harare on the 6th of January.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
We did promise to go international, and we deliver. We start with rugby news, where France centre Wesley Fofana announced that he will retire from international rugby after the 2019 World Cup in Japan. The 31-year-old has made 45 France appearances, scoring 15 tries, but played only once for Le Bleu in 2017 and 2018 after a succession of injury problems. Fofana, who won the French Top 14 Elite with Clermont in 2018, says he will continue playing club rugby. He was named by coach Jacques Brunel in his squad for the upcoming Six Nations, with France due to open their campaign against Wales in Paris next Friday.
In basketball news, New Orleans Pelicans star Anthony Davis could return next week after fearing he might miss up to a month because of a finger injury. Davis suffered an injury to his left index finger in Friday's 128-112 loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. The original diagnosis was a sprain that would keep him out for up to 2 weeks, but his agent, Rich Paul, a statement of intent as well, Rich Paul, later said the injury was a volar plate avulsion fracture that could lengthen Davis's absence.
We've been giving you updates from Melbourne. It is, of course, the first Grand Slam of the year, and we can tell you that Rafael Nadal has powered into his 5th Australian Open final by ending Stefanos Tsitsipas' run in the semi-final meeting. World number 2 Nadal won 6-2, 6-4, 6-love, and will vie for the Grand Slam title against either Novak Djokovic or Lucas Pouille. On the ladies' side, Petra Kvitova will play Naomi Osaka in the Australian Open final after they each won their semi-finals this morning. Kvitova defeated Danielle Collins 7-6, 6-love before Osaka beat Karolina Pliskova 6-2, 4-6, 6-4 in the final four.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
Alright, so Dynamos late last year confirming that Lloyd Mablanyo Chigowe and his assistant Murape Murape would carry on as the technical department at Dynamos, and they promised that they were going to refresh the Dynamos lineup, saying it was sorely in need of refreshment. What have they done? They've brought in Edward Sadomba. My goodness, so much for refreshing, because the 35-year-old returns from a stint out in the United Arab Emirates, and of course he took, I think, a year off out of football where he was fighting some legal battles, which he successfully won, and now is ready to run back onto the field, and he will run out in blue this season. Edward Sadomba signed a deal, but just looking at some of the players, Mike, that Dynamo seem to be bringing in, it sort of paid or makes a mockery of refreshing, doesn't it, at Dynamos?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you take a look at Dynamos, their stature as the country's biggest and most successful team, and the talent that they are bringing in. You know, these are experienced players, no doubt, players that know their way around the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. But when you take a look at the names, you know, Ashford Gutu, Munyaradzi Dia, Osborne Mukuradare, Hilary Bakacheza, you know, those are players that have been tried and tested elsewhere, and they are no longer considered to be in the top drawer of talent in Zimbabwe. So for me, it worries me that Dynamos, who were talking big at the end of last season, saying that there'll never be a repeat of the horror season that Dynamos fans witnessed last time out, have not exactly gone on to bring in the sterler talent and the sterler names, or the young refreshing talents that will give Dynamos the legs and the impetus they need to get themselves back up to the upper echelons of the league. You know, it's a tough ask to ask Dynamos right now to usurp FC Platinum and the likes of Chicken Inn, who have been doing really good business on the transfer market, but one would expect Dynamos to be making a fight for the top 4, or perhaps to be thereabouts this season. Is
it not, and to play devil's advocate, is it not a case of Dynamos trying to sort of stabilize the ship more so than challenge, whereby they had a shocker of a season last season, and fair dues, you said that they said that they will not repeat that no matter what. start, and in the interest of not repeating it, perhaps bring in experienced heads. Experienced heads are going to know how to navigate. We saw it with Chicken Inn. Chicken Inn had a very experienced side last season. Yes, they were there or thereabouts, but you could see that the legs started to fail towards the business end of the league, and they fell away somewhat, letting down Joey Antipas, but it certainly stabilized the ship. Perhaps that's what Dynamos is trying to do.
But here's the thing, Barry, with old legs, it means that there's no continuity. It means that at the end of each season, you're going to have to do the job again.
Sure.
And so, for me, it doesn't speak well into Dynamo's future. It may, of course, fix certain immediate problems in that it will stabilize the club and perhaps give the fans a glimmer of hope at the start of the season. But when the injuries begin to tell, when the suspensions start to come, it's going to be a problem for Dynamos. They're not going to have those legs, especially in what is a longer season now, with teams playing 34 games in the Castle Premier Soccer League. But also, Barry, wasn't it a fantastic opportunity for Dynamos to do like what their arch rivals did? Highlanders, when Highlanders hit the skids, Barry, they didn't look up in terms of age. They looked down and said, okay, we've got junior structures, we've got young players who are keen, who are chomping at the bit to put on the black and white. Let's give those players an opportunity. Let's give them a chance. They took on board a coach, Madina Ndlovu, who believes in development, who believes in giving youth a chance, who came from that generation when Highlanders was fed by the local players that they found in neighborhoods such as Mzilikazi, Makokowa, Mpopoma, Luveve, guys who knew what it meant to put on the black and white. You don't see that at Dynamos at the moment. It looks like they're going for short-term fixes because at the end of the day, surely there are young players in Harare right now and surrounding areas who could do with a chance at Dynamos and who will probably play their hearts out to get Dynamos to the place where the fans want to see it.
And also understanding also that I think Justice Majavi is also training with the side. You've got a Stephen Alimenda as well out there. The challenge now is, and I suppose it's irony as well, you've got two coaches who were given the nod in Mablanyo and Murape who've come out of the junior structures at Dynamos. Murape even worse because he graduated as a player throughout the junior ranks, played at the senior level, then went back to coach in the junior ranks,
and works with an academy as well. So he's the man who's involved in the grassroots development of players.
And the chance that they get to promote the younger players, they opt to go for experience. So look, we can only assume there's method to the madness.
It could be also a function, Barry, of the pressure that comes with being a coach at Dynamos. Dynamos is a team where results are required of you. And sometimes the executive and the fans are not thinking about it logically the way we would as pundits and analysts on radio or TV. They are looking at it and saying, we want results. We want to win. We want to win the Harare Derby. We want to beat Highlanders. We want to beat FC Platinum. We want to be back where we're used to seeing our team being, and that is winning championship after championship, our captains lifting silverware. That's how the fans think. But you take a look at Murape and Mablanyo, they're looking at it and thinking, you know what, if we don't appease those fans, if we don't appease the executive, we don't get to stay in a job. So let's get in players right now who will be able to get us one or two results quickly or early.
And in truth, it's no disparagement on these players, because I'll think to myself that having seen Edward Sadomba, I mean, he plays in our five-a-side team, so he's still got the ability to tuck it away.
Well, listen, he still does have the ability, Barry, but the ultimate test will be when he runs onto the field and he begins 100%. To play. And you know, when you're playing five-a-side, it's a bit different because you're working in limited space.
Small areas,
so Sadomba's strength, one of his main attributes has always been his takeoff, his pace, and so he's able still, even at the age of 35, to exhibit that, because listen, at most he's sprinting 10-20 yards at most in a five-side pitch, sometimes not even that much. So it's a different sort of game where his mind has been more at play than, of course, the physical aspects of the game, or his physical aspects which are not really being tested. So we'll see how he does when he comes up against the likes of Kevin Moyo at FC Platinum, a steady defender. Mudua. When he's up against Peter Mudua at Highlanders, who's going to rough him up and who's going to be quite physical, and Mudua loves a scrap of that nature, especially with an established veteran. We've seen how he's done the business versus Leonard Tsipa. We've seen how he did the business against Roderick Mutuma, how he did the business again, even against Epupa Ntuba, who was not an old man by any stretch of the imagination, but he loves that sort of challenge. And so for me, that is the ultimate test for the likes of Edward Sadomba. But the benefits will be in the experience that they bring to training and the mentorship that he can offer some of the up-and-coming talent that they do have at Dynamos.
And the likes of Achford Gutu as well. I mean, having played in Europe, albeit for a short period of time, obviously those will be inspirational for the players that are signed as new players at Dynamos.
Can I tell you though, what's worrying me, Barry, that whilst we may have taken off on the Dynamos story, it worries me that the recycling of players seems to be a trend in our league. We've just talked about Dynamos, the biggest and most successful team in the land. Let's go right at the bottom of the league to one of the new boys, promoted side, Manica Diamonds. Now, this is a team that's well-heeled, team with resources, a team that's just fought their way from Division 1, had a really good season, come into the Premier League. What do? They disband their squad completely and they go on a buying spree. Surely that's a damning indictment, Barry, on the development structures, not at Manica Diamonds, but in the country. The fact that for them, they see survival and success in the Premier League lying in the hands of discarded players, players out of contract from other teams in the Kasolaga Premier Soccer League, rather than those young players that brought them through the ranks, as it were, Division 2, Division 1, and ultimately into the Premier League.
The tragedy being that one of the teams that survived this past season, that was promoted and survived in this league, finished I think in 8th position, Herentals, came through with the squad that they played in Division 1. The same squad that played in Division 1, Northern Region Soccer League, stuck to it. They survived in the league, actually played exciting football when they didn't have
despite the handicap of innocent Menza. They were affected on one leg.
Exactly. So that shows you that they are young players who have got the ability,
that can do the business.
And consequently, I mean, one of their players, Edgar Mungu, has joined Dynamos subsequently. Yes, I know they're freshening up their squad, but only doing that in their second season, but they've got a second season. Look at Manica Diamonds. Tafadzo Due has gone out there. Benjamin Marera is there. And then when you run down the list, your Charlton Muzambo, there are names that we know, names that we've known for a long time, that are going across to a new
Ashley
team.
Raiders, Joram Muchambo, those are players, Marshall Mudewe, Pritchard Mpelele. So those are the players we're talking about. Wisdom Mutasa, who's blown hot and cold at every club that has given him an opportunity. The only decent signing for me, you take a look at those players, is your Patson Jaure, because he's going to bring in the leadership, he's going to bring in the experience, and he's also going to bring bags of ability. The boy is able, and it was a bit of a surprise to see Patson Jaure opt for Manica Diamonds over other suitors that we know he certainly had in the Kasolaga Premier Soccer League. So he may have looked at which club is going to butter his bread better.
Exactly. I think it was a bread and butter issue, wasn't it, Michael? But a player on this list who I'm going to try and zone in on it, Marshall Mudewe. This has got to be his last chance. He's got to show and prove that player that we saw with promise, that player that winger that we so thought that he was going to blow out the lights at every stadium he played at. We've got to see that player now at Manica Diamonds, or it's over.
Yeah, listen, it's a wonderful opportunity as well, because Lukma Somere tends to be more direct in his approach to football games than Norman Mapeza. And Norman Mapeza's approach perhaps didn't suit Marshall Mudewe, who's used to, put the ball in space. Let me run onto it, get it behind the defense. Let's turn them around, and let me use my searing pace to get us an advantage. With FC Platinum, the slow, methodical build-ups where he was expected, of course, to be very disciplined in terms of his positioning, maintaining shape without the ball, working hard without the ball as well, perhaps didn't suit his style. And that's not to excuse him, but I think with Masomere, he's got a side that will probably play more to his strengths than FC Platinum did.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
Well, you take a tap in these circumstances.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
Oh, it's that time of the evening again where you give yourself an opportunity to win and to win big. It's the Profeeds Daily Sports Trivia. And of course, you send us a WhatsApp message with the hashtag Profeeds Trivia, and then we try and call you back. Well, we have called someone back. They're on the line at the moment. They're going to field 2 questions. Hopefully, they'll get both correct, and then they'll be in the draw that will be held on Friday, the 22nd of February, where they'll stand a chance of winning our first prize of the year 2019, which is a Capri double door 290-litre fridge. Over to the Quizmaster, Barry Manandi.
Good evening to you, Moses Sekete. Welcome to the show, matey.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Very well, thanks, mate. If you call me sir, then I'll just give you the prize without asking any questions because you're very respectful, sir. All right, mate, it's the Profeeds Trivia. We always like to know what teams people support. So, Moses, what teams do you support, mate?
I'm a Liverpool fan, man.
Oh,
you know what? Lucky.
Call me sir. Liverpool fan. Give him the prize.
And we got a couple of those this week, eh?
We have.
Liverpool fans.
Don't tell me you're a Man U fan.
No, we're Liverpool fans.
Okay.
You'll never way, brother.
You'll never walk alone.
And there's Liverpool in the studio, so you'll never walk alone, matey. You got 2 questions to answer. You answer them correctly, you are our daily winner. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, mate. First question. They're both out of the world of rugby, and the first question is, in what year did Zimbabwe last play at the World Cup, the World Cup of Rugby? Was it 1987, 1991, or 1995?
You said 1987 and?
1991 or 1995?
95 being the one in SA, I would probably say 91.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
You're halfway there now.
You're halfway there, matey. Number 2 is who are the defending Rugby World Cup champions?
The last winners.
Yes.
Winners.
Yes.
Oh, come on,
Moses. Come on.
Between Australia, I think it's New Zealand.
Yes. Well done. New Zealand All Blacks. Well done, Moses. You're our daily winner. You will be in that draw on Friday, the 22nd of February. You could win that Capri double door fridge. Congratulations, mate. Thanks for playing.
Oh, thanks, mate.
All right, cheers.
Well, you take a tap in these circumstances.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed. Play of the day. Throwback Thursday.
Well, they say that how you change an industry determines your greatness, and I can tell you now that this man certainly changed music with the way that he made his compositions, and then even better, the way he did his videos. They turned into little featurettes, little movies, and everyone followed behind. This is one of his classics, Beat It.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.